Hello guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I take a little musical idea and how I organize it into measures and bars so I can start layering and composing more parts. Last week I made a rescore for the intro of Night of the Living Dead, and if you want to watch that you can click the link here or down in the description. This time I decided to try to do the same with one of my favorite Charlie Chaplin movies, The Gold Rush. This is one scene in particular that I really like. It's for me one of the saddest parts of the movie, and the performance by Charlie Chaplin is pretty amazing. This is Charlie Chaplin on top of his game. So I'm gonna show you what I have so far. This was me just playing around with the piano, not measuring anything, just playing and kinda improvising, but this is like the 100th take. And this is actually a combination of MIDI takes that I did, and this is kind of the rough musical idea. So let's take a look. Okay, so that was just one little phrase that I was able to come up with. And now, if I want to turn this into a full orchestral thing, or if I want like real musicians to be able to play this thing has to be measured. It has to be organized into beats and measures. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. So first I wanna know what the tempo is going to be. So I'm gonna listen to it again and I'm gonna try to feel what the tempo is going to be. And I'm going to use an app on my phone that's called Metronome Beats. And I'm gonna tap along and see what the BPM is. Okay, so the tempo here is all over the place, but I kind of know how I want it, so it's something like... Okay, so it's roughly 62 BPM. Now let's take a look at the piano roll. So as you can see, I purposefully made it into 4 different sections. I have 4 different chords, and this is just a way to make it a little bit more structured from the beginning. So this one single phrase is divided into 4 chords. Each one of the chords has a little musical idea that's more or less a variation of the original motif from the first chord, and each one of those makes the whole one phrase. So I'm gonna try to make it more or less symmetrical. So I'm gonna try to figure out where in the measure the notes go. I know that I want that first part. I want it to be something like this. Okay, so I want the first note to be a quarter note, and the second and the third note are going to be 8 notes. So I'm actually going to start recording that. And right now I'm just worrying about the melody. I'm going to add the chords later. But if I can have one chord for each bar roughly, that's going to be great. I want it to be pretty much square. I'm actually gonna fix this note right here. And now the second part goes something like this. And now I need to play it and feel the beat at the same time. I'm actually gonna write it down instead of playing it because it's a little confusing for me. It's going to be a quarter note tied to a 16th note, and then This is, for me, the most painful part of writing music, actually taking the idea or the creative thing and then actually putting it into a grid and actually give it some mathematical structure. It's kind of taking that flowing idea and putting it into math. It's, for me, it's always very hard. So this feels more like triplets, not so much as a 16th note. That's what I want it to feel like. And that really comes with lots of practice and, you know, just listening to music and playing a lot of music and actually playing something that you come up with and trying to write it down and be able to tell, no, that's not what I have in my head. I'm not imagining that 16th note. I immediately realized that it was a little too short, but it's not, I don't want it to be long enough to be an 8th note. I want it to be an 8th note triplet. And as soon as I wrote that down, that's exactly what I had in my head. Yeah, I think this is going to be a quarter note. And I think next part are going to be triplets. I think that's what I'm hearing, so let's try that out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is pretty much the second way to do it. If it's very obvious what I want it to sound like, and I know it's going to be this lengths of notes, I'm just gonna play it. And as you can see here, I'm playing way ahead of time, but this doesn't really matter. I'm just writing right now. I'm not trying to play perfectly in time, but this is pretty much the first way to do it. Just, oh, I know that what the durations of the notes are going to be. And the second one is, okay, I actually have to write it down so I can figure out what it is. Okay, so I don't want to wait for a whole 3 beats until the next chord. I have 2 options actually. I could turn this into a 2/4 measure or this whole thing into a 6/4 measure. I'm gonna do the latter. I'm gonna insert a time signature, I'm gonna change it to 6, and here it's going to go back to 4. And now you have 4, 6, and then it goes back to 4. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then my new chord. Perfect. That one's very similar to the previous one, so I'm just gonna take that one and I'm gonna copy and paste it. And I'm gonna bring it down to G. And I want this to be triplets, so I'm gonna change this back to 8 triplets. And I'm gonna see if that's what I had in my head. And now the last part. Okay, I know what those are. I know that the first note is gonna be a quarter note, and then just 8 notes from there. So I'm gonna attempt to play the chords. And now I have a musical idea that's organized into beats and measures, and I can write this down in a sheet of music and I can send it to another musician and they can play it, they can understand it, and now it's all perfectly organized, so I can translate this and put it into a string arrangement. I can turn this into a full orchestral arrangement. This is the DNA of a musical composition. For people who are not great with rhythms, like myself, this can be a very challenging part of composition, but it's really all about practice. So yeah, let's see what that looks like now with the scene from the movie. This is way too dramatic for this scene. It's not supposed to be this depressing. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. It's pretty much nighttime already. I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments. And that's it. I'll see you next week.